Welcome back. So, obviously, we've been behind on the videos for a little while now. Fingers crossed, we're somewhat up together a little bit. The last few videos there, I've had to do just sort of a montage. You'd have seen it as a montage of basically the back end and yeah, just a montage of everything that happened, you know, after we drilled. So I hope you enjoyed that. There should have been a video there of Linda and Andrew's holiday of New Zealand. So obviously they're back now. They've been and gone. Me and Keithy held the fort at the farm and got all the hay deliveries out. We had young Robert with us for a month. He was helping out. I thought on this video we would come across all of the crops. I've yet to actually put the drone up because we all know what a wet winter it's been so far. I haven't actually gone out with the drone yet. I haven't had the time to do it, but we've got the time today. So obviously in pretty much every field there's going to be areas like this area here where there's no crop, and it's just where the water stands. We're over at Jim's at the minute. We planted Zayat here at the back end of last year, and yes, this was that troublesome field with the dodgy signal in the area. I don't know what causes it. People say there's an army camp nearby. People say it's something to do with that, but I have no idea. Having said that, there's no misses or anything that I can see from the ground. So we're going to put the drone up, go and have a fly around, see if we can see any of our mistakes. You know, some fields are going to be worse than others for areas of wet. You're not going to get around it this year. Every field is going to have an area of wet in it somewhere. It's not going to be anything, you know, we're not going to have a year of record breaking crops just because of the water damage throughout the winter. So, but this field looks really well. This was one of those fields that was over winter stubbles last year, and obviously this has gone back into wheat this year. And it looks rather well actually, considering all the weather we've had on it. It feels weird talking to you in the past all the time, so I'm hoping to have get that addressed a little bit this year. And we're looking for a couple of things. We want to know how much damage there's been from the water, so we'll be looking at that. I will be looking to see whether I've made any mistakes on the drill, so I'll be looking at that. And then when we get home, so the fields don't look like this one. They're yeah, we've got one or two fields that are complete write-off. We've got some fields that you're on the edge of knowing what to do with them because there's so much damage to them, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Ag and Linda had a really nice time on holiday. That went so fast I can hardly believe they're back. We've started calving. We've had a week of calving now, so I think there's 6 or 7. They had their first twins this morning, so yeah, you'll see that on probably the next video or something like that. Keithy's been out trimming. He's been non-stop trimming all winter. We haven't managed to film any of that. We haven't got round to it, I'm afraid. You know, you just can't do it all. Right, we will get to it. Go and have a little fly about. There's one field here. You can't it's been so wet you can't get up to it. You could walk up to it, I'm sure you could, but we'll fly over there and have a little look at that and see how that's doing. But for the most part at this farm I think we're pretty happy considering the weather.
Hey now honey, I've been driving around in my car looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money but I'll work it out with my charm. Having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Hey now honey, I've been driving around in my car looking for some kind of open bar. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Got no money but I'll work it out with my charm. Having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright. Having a good time, ain't doing no harm. It's gonna be alright, gonna be alright.
about, oh my goodness, it's not good news, is it? It's the same for all of us, and you can see across all the different farms there that, you know, the amount of water has just affected everything. Doesn't matter what type of land it's been on, doesn't really matter what type of cultivation it had. Some of Barry's farm there was ploughed, and even some of that has, you know, wherever the water stood like this, it's killed the crops, you know, and there's been a hell of a lot of water stood this winter. So that's the story there. The agronomist has already been out. He thinks most of it is savable. What's noticeable from the air, it still doesn't show up like it does from the camera from down at ground view, but it does show you the problem areas that you have, and obviously the thin areas. Yeah, some little surprises there. That there's a field at Jim's that is worse than I thought it would be, and there's a field at Mick's farm that is worse than I thought it would be. The wheat fields here, we're on heavy clay here, and you know, with that sort of rainfall, you're never going to do well. Farmer will sit down with the agronomist, and they'll try and work out whether, not so much the barley fields. I feel like the barley fields are going to be left. You know, I know they're not looking great, but by the time you've pulled them all up, sprayed them off and re-drilled, all the fuel, all the seed cost, and then you've got risk of, you know, spring weather. You don't know what it's going to do. It could be dry, could be wet, you don't know. There's all those factors to consider. Farmer will talk them through and decide whether, I'm pretty sure there'll be a couple of wheat fields there we might do something with. Farmer's pretty good, you know, he got a couple of plans where we might just go across it and cast some seed on and cultivate it in and see what that does. There's a few different ideas out there that we can go through, but we'll see on that one. Yeah, what a horrible winter it's been. There's not going to be any record-breaking numbers, not across anything, I don't think. We've got a hell of a lot of spring drilling to do as well whenever it does dry up. We went early last year. We had a dry spell, and I think we were right to do that last year. Just, you know, it came very wet in the spring after that, so yeah, who knows what it's going to bring this time. It's the 3rd of February now, so whenever we get a good frost or things dry out enough to travel, Keithy will be out here on the barley doing the first dose of fertilizing on the barley, and then in a month's time we'll be starting on the wheat, after the farmer's decided which wheat he's going to keep and which is worth saving and blah blah blah. But yeah, a lot of damage done by the weather this year. Bit of a shame. Well, it's a real shame, you know, all that effort from everyone at the back end there after a really tricky harvest just kicks you right in the nads. But never mind. It'll be about a month's time we'll be back into drilling again for spring crops. So yeah, Keithy's got a lot to do with his he'll be taking the 8S, the Power Harrow combi drill, that big massive setup. He'll be going across Peter's farm that's been ploughed. He'll also be going across Alistair's farm that's been ploughed. He's got a lot to do. He'll be using that machine because it's 2 machines in one, so it'll knock the ploughing down. And we've had some opportunities where we could have probably knocked that ploughing about a bit, but we didn't take that up. But that's what that drill's for. It's to be used as like that. So I think those fields will probably leave us in the best stead at the end of it all for spring, just because the ploughed fields obviously will dry a bit quicker, and they'll leave a bit better seed bed at the end of it. So, but we'll see that. It's nice to be back filming again. I've had a whole month off not filming, so yeah, I might be a bit rusty actually. It'd be a bit yeah, this is a bit all over the place, you know why. But next video we'll go into, we'll have a look around the farm, and we'll go and have a look at some of the calves there, and yeah, and then I've got some news. Anyone went to Lammas show might have seen it, but we've got a couple of machines coming this year, so we'll have a chat about that another day. That's quite exciting actually. Everyone's a bit excited for those, so yeah, we'll talk about that another day. But thanks very much for watching. Let's see how this all progresses. I can't tell you what's going to happen because I don't know just yet. So Farmer will look at everything, get a plan going, and then we'll have to go from there. But more hard work on the way, I feel. Anyway, Thanks very much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.